Okay, so when you warm your ammonium chloride with your sodium hydroxide solution, you actually have this equation that you can formulate. So NH4Cl plus your NaOH, you will end up with your sodium chloride along with water, and what you'll be able to test is actually the ammonia gas. Okay, so this is produced in the form of gas. These are things you need to take note. Okay, so name and formula of the gas produced. This is your ammonia gas. So NH3. Okay, NH3. Okay. What is the test you carry out using for ammonia gas? What is the chemical or the substance you use to test for ammonia gas? Yeah, we have learned it last year. What? Okay, what's the nature of ammonia gas? Acidic, neutral, or alkaline? This is not acidic gas. This is an alkaline gas. What can you test for alkaline gas? Litmus paper. What color to use? Red color. Okay. So in order to test for this gas, you place a piece of red litmus paper, moist red litmus paper, into the gas. Okay, so if your ammonia gas is produced, usually it comes with a pungent smell, so you can detect the smell. And at the same time, your moist red litmus paper will turn blue. Okay? Okay, then I think the next two gases, they have actually given you the name of the gas, so it's quite straightforward. Okay, then let's move on. The second last gas is sulfur dioxide gas. You can see in the product given to you in the first column. Sulfur dioxide gas is actually an acidic gas. Okay, then you know that if you are going to test for acidic gas, you can no doubt use your litmus paper. But the thing is, if you are going to test all the acidic gases using litmus paper, then after a while you will not be able to differentiate, is this carbon dioxide gas, sulfur dioxide gas, or any other acidic gases. Okay, so for the different type of acidic gases, there's actually a special test that you carry out in order to identify the identity of the acidic gases that is produced. So for sulfur dioxide, you learn this when you did your redox reaction. Okay, this is a reducing agent if you remember. Okay, this is a reducing agent if you remember. So to test for a reducing agent, we can actually use an oxidizing agent. So now I'm going to ask you, what is a common oxidizing agent you can still recall? Potassium iodide is a reducing agent. If you cannot use potassium iodide, what's the other agent that is oxidizing? Potassium manganate. Okay, that one is not complete. It's acidified potassium manganate 7. Okay, so usually for gases that you are not testing using litmus paper, you tend to bubble it into the test tube that contains another chemical. So for sulfur dioxide gas, very similar to the description for your carbon dioxide gas. You bubble the gas into acidified potassium manganate 7 solution. What's the color change? Purple to colorless. Okay, so if your sulfur dioxide gas is produced, your purple potassium manganate 7 solution will decolorize. Okay, so you can either say it turns colorless. In some books, they actually use the term decolorize. So they refer to the same thing. Okay, but before you even talk about that, please remember you must always state the original color of your potassium manganate. So no point telling me that it turns colorless, it decolorizes without referring back to the original color. Okay, so for observation, remember you must always state the initial color followed by the final color change. Okay? Then the last gas that you need to be familiar with is actually your chlorine gas. Do you all know how chlorine gas smells like? If you all go into the swimming pool, you all have a smell, right? Okay, that is actually the smell similar to chlorine gas. So chlorine is a substances commonly used as a bleaching agent. So if you look at some of the clothes, right, that your parents probably use it for washing, at times they pour in the bleaching agent, then you can actually have the smell. Okay, so that is how chlorine gas smells like. What's the color for chlorine gas? It comes with the color. Halogens are colored. What is the color for chlorine gas? Yellowish green. Okay, so this is your yellowish green gas. Okay, so for this test, right, you actually use a litmus paper. Okay, so you place a piece of moist blue litmus paper into the gas. So for this, right, there's two changes you must observe. So the moist blue litmus paper will first turn red. After which, it will then bleach. Okay, the term bleach means it turns white. So basically your litmus paper, right, is just normal filter paper soaked in the plant dye. Okay, so there's actually this plant comes with two different colors, and it happens to change color when your solution is of different nature. So they just have to soak it into the blue color dye, then your blue litmus paper is formed in this way. Okay, so when you place your blue litmus paper into an acidic solution, it turns red. But like what I mentioned earlier, chlorine gas is actually commonly used as a bleaching agent. So it will first turn your blue litmus paper red. After a while, your blue litmus paper, when it turns red, right, you realize that it becomes completely white. That was the original color of the paper that is used to soak up the dye solution. Okay, but you cannot say it turned white. The correct term to use is bleach. This is the term. So realize that if you are not careful, you pour in some of the very strong bleaching agent into your cloth that is colored, you end up with patches of white. And that's because of the reaction that is taking place. Okay, so I think gas tests are pretty straightforward. There's a total of 6 gas tests. There are some already learned last year. Okay, you may not carry out all the tests during a practical exam. There are some common ones. So the 4 common gases that you are always asked to test, right? Your hydrogen gas, your carbon dioxide gas, ammonia gas, and then your oxygen gas. So these are the 4 common gases that usually you will test. Sulfur dioxide gas and chlorine gas are not so common. Okay, so these are things you just have to take note of. Eventually, I also guide you along to know when you look at a particular reaction, what is the gas you're supposed to test for. Because in practical exam, they will never tell you which gas you have to test when you have to test for the gas. So you need to be aware when you carry out certain experiment, at which point should the gas carry out, at which point should you carry out the different gas tests.